Jau Jolde.
Thank you.
So let's welcome Niki.
Good evening, afternoon, or morning, whatever it might be. I was in the mall the other day shopping, and all of a sudden I felt this overwhelming fear, and it was attacking me everywhere. And it was a smell. It was a smell, and I couldn't get away. And my nose was turning inside out. And I thought, oh my gosh, what is that? So I ran out, found myself someplace and sat down. I thought, what in the world? And then it all hit me, just like a brick. The most visual and impactful and reoccurrence was something from my childhood. It was my father putting on his aftershave. He wore Old Spice. Have any of you ever smelled Old Spice? Some like it, some don't. I didn't. And growing up, my father would put it on when we went to the restaurant, when we went to church, when we went anywhere, and he always wanted to sit by me. And I'd sit there thinking, oh, I didn't like that smell. Oh, you don't like that smell. But when two men were trying it on in the mall, and when I smelled it, it was like Dais Jau Jolde. It just all came back. And I thought, wow, it was just so real. It was so real. So I was sitting there thinking, what other smells make something happen to me like that? Because it was just so real. And I thought, my mother. My mother always wore Youth Dew by Estee Lauder. Now you could smell my mother coming a mile away. She was always soaked in it. And we got it for every Christmas and every New Year's birthday and all those good things. But it was a nice smell. It was a nice, refreshing kind of. It was a smell that was very easy on me. But I remember one day we were in the commissary and she was going through the meat market basket thing, and she's picking out meat and going on, and I'm standing there next to her, and all of a sudden I see this woman next to her gagging. Like, and she walks over to her husband and she says, I don't know why some women do that. They just put in so much of it on, and they just don't realize that there are other people around that just is such let's get out of here, let's get out of here. And I thought, oh, my poor mom. I felt really bad for my mother. And she had heard it. It didn't make any difference. She still drenched herself in it. And people would comment on it, and when my child was a baby, she came home smelling of it every time she'd been to my mother's house. But for me, it represented a really safe and a really secure and a sure environment for me to be in, because I knew it was my mom. And as I was sitting there thinking about it, I thought, yeah, and it was all there. I could see us in the store, her going through the lamb chops and the pork chops and all that, and this awful woman saying that awful thing about her. And I thought, this is making my mind go further. Because I didn't ever think about what you associate with smells that much. I mean, every once in a while, a smell will wander by and people will go, oh, deja vu. And I thought, well, yeah, but mine is Dais Jau Jolde. So I thought of another one. There was a really funny one. My brother and I were like any brother and sister growing up. We fought and we yapped at each other, all that good stuff. And I mean, we often looked like the cartoons in the funny papers where you've got the big brother who's being all mean and doing things, and the little sister going, I'm going to tell Mom, I'm going to tell Mom. And that's exactly what we always looked like. And one day, when I was about maybe 10, he decided to go out into the garage and get one of my dad's cherry bombs. He came into the house with this cherry bomb, and it's lit. And I'm looking at him going, I need to tell Mom. takes his cherry bomb, he's got it lit, and he looks at it like, maybe I don't want to have that in my hand. So he tosses it into the sink. Kaboom! There goes the sink. And there was a cloud, like the atom bomb cloud, the mushroom you see. But the smell was very, just horrid smell. And when my mom came home, sure, you know what Richard did? You know what Richard did, Mom? You know what Richard did? Look what he did, Mom, look. And she looks up, and there she sees all these twinkling little stars embedded in the ceiling. Dais Jau Jolde. I tell you these stories because as I was sitting there remembering those things that were so vivid and the reoccurrence of it, I realized that something that's been haunting me just in the last month is that my father is dying, and I wonder a lot if I will remember things about him. And I think, when the time comes, will I remember later in my life what he looked like and what we did and what it meant. And I'm losing a lot of my memory, faster and quicker than most because of my MS. And it scares me to think that I might not know or remember those things. But the fact that that smell brought those memories back to me, I thought, well, even if I lose my memory somewhat, won't those smells bring everything back? And I would like to think that they would. That they would bring my memory back to life so that I could remember those things about my father and the rest of my family. And I share it with you because we get so fast in our daily living. We get so go, 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 that we forget to just sit down and relish the moment for a minute. And I found an interesting quote that I want to share with you because it really made me think, and it was so apropos to where I was going and what my feelings were. It's by Barbara Kingsolver, who's a writer and an author, and she says, "It's surprising how much memory is built around things that are unnoticed at the time." It was very comforting for me, and I know I'll remember a lot of things about my dad when he goes. It's just